Theme parks and Halloween are two of my favorite things on the planet. Both have an intoxicating atmosphere, bring smiles to people's faces, and exude an energy that is unlike anything else. So, naturally, when these two things combine forces, I'm the happiest I could possibly be. And one of the first theme parks to make a yearly tradition out of this was a modest little park in a Texas town that, after becoming one of the premier chains on the planet, realized combining frights and thrills was an experience that couldn't be beat. This is the story of Six Flags Fright Fest, one of the best Halloween theme park experiences on the planet. I'm Cameron West, and as always, you're watching HauntSeason. Originally dubbed Fright Nights, Six Flags Halloween celebration came about after its testing different, smaller Halloween-based events throughout the 1970s and mid-80s at some of its parks. However, in 1986, Six Flags Astroworld debuted the first unified Halloween experience, Fright Nights. This month-long event transformed the whole amusement park into a Halloween party for all ages. Fake blood and bodies set the scene, while actors in scary garb and makeup roamed around, adding to the frights. Even characters like Bugs Bunny donned Halloween costumes to get into the seasonal event. Fright Nights was a smashing success, and, naturally, Six Flags saw the opportunity to expand the event to more of its parks. So, in 1988, Six Flags over Mid-America was the second Six Flags park to introduce Fright Nights. This time with Freddy Krueger, in tandem with the recently released film A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, as the event's entertainment chairman. Fright Nights featured House of the Living Dead, a walkthrough inside of the ride building for Time Tunnel, as well as the Terror Train, a horror train show which took place on the Tommy G. Robertson Railroad. In 1989, Fright Nights debuted at Six Flags Over Texas. Like Six Flags Over Mid-America the previous year, for the second and last time, Freddy Krueger returned as the entertainment chairman of Fright Nights, this time getting his own attraction, Freddy's Nightmares, the Haunted House on Elm Street, which, up until 2018, was the only movie-themed haunted attraction to ever appear in Fright Fest's history. The event also featured several other haunted houses, a trick-or-treat show for kids, and more. Fright Nights would continue until 1993 when Six Flags, realizing how popular their Halloween haunt had become, decided to introduce a unifying experience to several of its parks all at the same time. This new event would be called Fright Fest, a name that is still used to this day. The event featured the return of Dr. Blood, a character used in previous years, but this time as the host of the event, along with Arania, the Black Widow bride. Rather than having zombies and other costume characters roaming the entire park, the event featured 7 different zombie couples, with one in each themed area of the park. Each couple had names and attributes that themed them to each area. These set the stage for what would later become Fright Fest's most famous feature, scare zones, or designated areas of the park where costumed actors are allowed to scare guests. As years passed, Fright Fest continued to grow, adding things that would keep its identity unique. At several of the parks, certain rides like Chubasco at Great America are given complete Halloween makeovers. Chubasco, the park's teacup ride, transforms into Terror Twister, in which the ride building is enclosed and a custom lighting design matched with a custom club-style music mix is played. Another facet of the event is the shows. Love at First Fright has been presented every year since the event's inception and follows the story of a couple on a dare to spend the night in a cemetery who get caught up in crazy antics when several classic Halloween characters rise from the grave. The show often plays to capacity audiences during the event, and it is known for changing the show each year to include various pop culture and newsworthy references. Dead Man's Party, which is performed at nearly every Six Flags park, is a song and dance style show where undead creatures perform numbers to well-known Halloween-themed songs, such as Welcome to My Nightmare and The Phantom of the Opera. All Six Flags parks are heavily decorated for Fright Fest and mainly feature haunted attractions and shows, as well as opening ceremonies and closing finales such as Freaks Unleashed and Final Freakout, which bring all the actors into the park for a first and last scare. In 2016 and 2017, Fright Fest at Six Flags Magic Mountain was awarded with USA Today's Reader Choice Award for Best Theme Park Halloween Event. And in 2018, for the first time since Freddy Krueger's appearance in 1989, a movie tie-in was added to Fright Fest. The movie Hellfest, which sees a masked serial killer turning a horror-themed amusement park into his own personal playground, was added to the lineup of haunted attractions. A walkthrough based on the film transformed haunted mazes into real-life replicas of the movie's most unnerving, goriest, and epic scenes. In its press release, Six Flags said, "Guests who are brave enough to enter will walk through the Devil's Mouth into the Hellfest maze and venture through a number of rooms, each themed to depict scenes straight from the movie, including the Mausoleum, an increasingly narrow corridor that forces guests to feel the touch of death, the Mask Room, a haunting room filled with floating white faces that could spring to life when visitors least expect it, the Doll Room, filled with dolls straight out of the worst nightmares, the Torture Chamber, where the bodies of the disassembled, dissected, and disemboweled wish to share their horrific ending. Room by room, guests must find their way out or risk being trapped by the other, the movie's deranged antagonist." 2019 will see a return to form for Fright Fest, as all of the event will, once again, be based on original properties. As if being on a roller coaster traveling at 50 miles per hour down a 200-foot drop wasn't scary enough, imagine getting off that ride and coming face to face with a creature from the darkest reaches of your mind. If the coaster wasn't enough to stop your heart, then maybe what's lurking around the next corner will be. But hey, look on the bright side. If your heart does stop beating, at least you'll have a job for next Halloween. I'm Cameron West. That was HauntSeason, and thank you so much for watching.